You can't connect is because it's the Wi-Fi. School Wi-Fi doesn't allow. Oh yeah, it's live. Hey, we are live.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Wait, let me fix it.
Okay.
They got it.
All right.
Hi, Kai. Hi.
Okay. We're going to continue. We are at 19. As you can see, we are halfway through the book. Okay. All the way until about chapter 30. Some chapters are still long, but majority of the chapters are quite bite-sized. Right? So what do you learn about chapter 19? Okay. Try to remember chapter 18. In the beginning of chapter 18, what was happening? He had what? How did Lucas feel? How did Benjamin feel?
Like he lose hope.
Yeah, he started to lose hope. He was making notches, right? He cut his 41st notch in the pole. But, I mean, cleverly, what Delene might be, I like the way, how she manipulates or um, how she varies the tension in each chapter. Okay, she increases and then she releases the tension. Increases and she releases the tension. I think chapter 18, if I'm not mistaken, we split it up into 4 parts. Alright? Okay. One of the parts of the chapter is when Lucas and Benjamin / Lucas and Nina come back. Okay, and then he realizes that his mother had been there. His mother had been there because he noticed all these things, right? And then his father was in a very bad mood. His so-called father was in a very bad mood, right? And as a matter of fact, at the end of that episode or at the end of that moment, right? You need to know, by now you need to know how to classify moments. Okay? So that moment when he comes home, right? And he discovers that his mother had been there, his brother had been there. Okay? It's a moment. And the moment ends, the moment it leaves the location maybe. Right? Or it goes into another day or it goes into another time period. Okay? So when we're talking about moments, if the question is asking you, okay, choose a disturbing moment, right? Choose a dramatic moment. Okay, it has to be something that is happening right now. Like this class is a moment in time. From the moment you enter the room to the moment you leave, it is one moment, right? Okay, so it cannot be that it's over a period of time. Okay, make sure you know how to classify a moment. So that moment, right, when he comes home and he discovers that his mother and his brother had been there. Okay. Um, he after that particular moment, he made a kind of a thought. He had a thought that if his mother was there to bring him back, why did he bring his what his things? Okay, can you find that place? Which page is that? 2, 19 something, right? 198. Okay. In the middle of the page, right? Just as Nina was kind of like unwittingly or unthinking, like she's always not very sensitive in what she does. Okay, she picked up the rock rabbit blanket, put it around her as if she was enjoying it, right? Or maybe it would be harsh of me to say that she's insensitive. Maybe she doesn't realize the gravity of the situation. Do you understand what I mean? The seriousness or the fact that Lucas is upset. Because what does she know? She assumes that Lucas is her brother. And why is he's so upset that he's back with his own family? So it doesn't make sense. Right? Leave my things, he screamed and pulled it off her. You don't touch my things with your dirty hands. Okay, so when you're angry, you always say things that are quite harsh. Okay? I mean, it doesn't mean that her hands were not dirty, but you don't have to mention it, right? Then your friend's face not exactly beautiful, but you don't have to go like, hey, don't look at me with your ugly face. Right? It's just when you're angry, then you start to say things that, intentionally to hurt people's feelings, right? To scorn them. The man slammed the door shut and grabbed the ox rein from the hook, but the woman stopped him and said they had to eat. So as he said that, right? As he said that, okay, Elias was triggered also. Was triggered. Oh, I'm going to beat the nonsense out of him today. Okay, but who stopped him? Who stopped him? The woman. Who's the woman? Martha. Okay, don't get it wrong. Huh? The man and the woman and Nina ate. Okay, obviously he wouldn't have any appetite to eat. Has there been any situation when you were like extremely angry and then after that you look at the dinner and you go like, I'm going to sit down and eat angrily? Right? I mean, sometimes you just don't feel as if you don't feel like eating. Definitely, you just want to go to your room, slam the door if you had a room lah. Okay, some of you quite lucky for a room. Yeah? Put your face down in the bed and cry your eyes out. Yeah? Maybe thinking, oh, somebody will feel sorry for me and come in and calm me down. But of course, 20 minutes later, nobody comes in. It only happens in the movies, Oh, how are you, Natasha? Okay. Right? The man and woman and Nina, he lay down on top of his things and stayed there until it was morning again. You did not give some, this is the thing, underline please. You did not give someone's things to him if he was coming back. It was like saying goodbye. So we fast forward to chapter 19, right? Okay. Even as we realize at the end of chapter 18, Nina realizes her father's what? Secret. What's his secret? He's not a man.
He's doing
What's his secret?
He's doing the elephant.
The elephant. Hey, you're talking very fragmented now. His secret doing elephant. What was his secret?
He trapped the dead elephant in the trap.
The pit that they were digging is to trap an elephant. In other words, my 2 words in my mind was his insidious plan.
I don't know what.
You know what insidious means? You ever watched the movie? Evil. Okay? His evil plan, which is to kill an elephant and rob it of his, take his tusks and go and buy, sell, and become rich. Okay, that's his plan. Right? And of course, Nina is super upset. Why is Nina super upset?
Because she saw elephant being born.
Okay, and
She
she felt the
emotional
connection. Right? Being who she is, okay, being kind of like connected very closely to the forest and its animals, the birds, the bush bugs, okay, and even having witnessed an elephant being born, right, and being very, very, how to say, amazed by it, and being very, like, almost inspired by that moment that she saw, right? So it's quite obvious that Nina has a very strong affinity. You know this word, no? Affinity to the creatures of the forest, to the trees, and so on. Okay, so when one of these creatures, and especially something that she has connected with emotionally, right, is being murdered or being destroyed, right, prematurely, obviously she's very upset. Okay, and you can see this in chapter 19 when she says certain things about her father, right? Okay, chapter 19. Okay, we talk about motive. What is the motive? You did this already, right? Snake, yeah, the snake. So the snake is commonly associated with, revise, white people, right? So I guess it's timely that now Lucas is being associated with the snake, because this is the point where he assumes the identity of Lucas. Okay, is anybody else absent or not? Who?
Young Pray.
No, wait. Since I'm streaming live, I'm not making any comments. Right. Which is good lah. I mean, then she can watch me on YouTube. Sorry? Don't say things you will regret. Right. By the end of October, the winter's rain began to let up and they spent less time sitting around in the house. By the end of October, winter's rain began to let up. October, winter ends. Normally, October, winter begins, right? Yeah, so obviously, this is the southern hemisphere. Winter happens in June. Okay, get it? Winter happens in June. Where in the northern hemisphere, summer happens in June. This is the southern hemisphere. So, like that time I went to Australia in December, it was summer. Right? So I guess it's a bit strange if I was in Australia and celebrating Christmas. Definitely not white Christmas. Right? Brown and dusty. I'm dreaming of a brown and dusty Christmas. Okay? He was like a snake slowly chipping off its old skin and growing a new one as the months went by. Right? Maybe I think in future we should trace its motifs. We trace the motif of the snake, we trace the motif of the ostrich and the elephant. Okay, and see the connection. Right? He had to creep out. Notice the words used. He had to creep out of Benjamin Komoti's skin and become Lucas Gregory. Anyway, scientifically, why does a snake molt? Why does a snake molt? All skin old already. All skin too tight, right? Okay, like anything that has an exoskeleton, like you see crabs and all this. Yeah. Have you ever eaten soft shell crab before? You like soft shell crab? You want to know what is soft shell crab? A soft shell crab is a crab that has just molted, and the shell has not hardened yet, and then they kill it. There is no species out there of a crab that has a soft shell. It's just the crab has just molted, and then they harvest it while the skin is the exoskeleton is still soft, right? Then you can bite into the soft shell. Yeah, I also eat soft shell crab. Quite nice. I mean, it's easier than like having to peel skin. Right? I could be wrong. You know, somebody on YouTube will be like, "Oh, you're wrong." This is what I read now. Okay. The days of revolt. Days of revolt. What is revolt? Another word for revolt is to rebuild. How wrong you are. Rebel. Okay. The days of revolt. Okay. Is a noun. The days of revolt is a noun. So you cannot say the days of rebel. The days of rebellion. Is this word familiar? Rebellion. You watch Star Wars? I'm sure very familiar in Star Wars. Okay, they rise against who?
Dark Force.
Dark Force. That sounds like a Lego, like Dark Force, Ninjago, Emperor lah. Okay, rise against the Emperor. That's why it's called rebellion. Where's okay? Right, so the days of revolt, when he eased his despair, hacking at the yellow wood on the scaffold grew further apart, and the periods he could stay in Lucas's skin longer. So notice in this whole paragraph, I want you to trace the whole paragraph and underline all the words and phrases that relate to snake. Now, What's the first word? Snake, obviously, right? Okay, you got pencil. Okay, first is snake. What else? Before creep, there's something else. Old skin, right? Growing a new one. Then creep out, right? And last one, Lucas's skin again. So this is what we call an extended metaphor. Right? So the use of the extended metaphor to portray, put the word down, okay, to portray how Lucas is assuming the new identity. This is very apt. Why? Why is it very apt? Why is using this metaphor very apt? Because the image of the snake has been associated with what? With, what do we know? With white people. And so he is slowly becoming, in a way, white. And when you put the white, slowly becoming white, do you put it in inverted commas? Yes. Okay, because nobody like literally becomes white. Right? White as in white skin or white race. Okay? And notice this comes very quickly after chapter 18 when Christopher says what? It's true what Far said, right? What did Christopher say? It's true what Far said. Can you find that? Page 201. You just don't want to accept us. Maybe it's true what Far had said, that you're not really white again yet. Okay? So the idea of not just identity, but the idea of race is being brought up. Okay? Now, why is this important in the context of his relationship with Nina, for example? Why is this important? Why is it significant in the context of his relationship with Nina? The fact that he's becoming white. So if he's becoming white means he's becoming who? Lucas Van William. So why is this important in the context of his relationship with Nina? Sorry? Siblings. So they are now siblings. So what happens? What happens after they become siblings? Camel? Yes, I think camel. Is that saffron here? Where's my saffron? Can I repeat? So, in light of his relationship with Nina, why is the fact that he's assuming Lucas Van Duyn identity significant? Thinking about his relationship with Nina and how it develops, why is this significant later on? Sorry? Yes. Okay. Can you hear that? Because eventually, right? Eventually, come on, use the right word. So eventually, what happens is he inadvertently. Why inadvertently? Not purposely, lah. You know, he's not going around like, oh, Nina. You know, it's not lasting out for her, right? He's just inadvertently fallen in love with Nina, and that creates a problem because he has assumed Lucas Van Duyn as his identity, which is her brother. And this is unchristian, isn't it? He's Christian, right? That's why the first thing he asks or he's thinking is the devil in me, right? Okay? Why is the devil in me? Because it's very important here because Lucas is an upright person. He's a righteous person, man of principle. So he can't be falling in love with his own sister. So he makes him question, am I really Lucas Van Duyn? Do you understand? Okay, so that flow of events is very important because now he's starting to question again. Am I really Lucas Van Duyn? Why is the devil? Is it the devil in me or whatever? Right? He doesn't and he doesn't know what to do until he does what? He doesn't know what to do about this problem until which moment? Chocolate here for you. Not for you, Kaisara. Quick. Who tells him what to do? Huh? Correct, Fiela. Elsa. Yes. Okay. I'm going to go there. Fast. Okay. When does he ask Fiela? When does he ask Fiela? You want to kick it, right? I know you're smiling. Yeah. When does he ask her? When he goes back, why does he go back? Why does he go back? He was at the seaport. Alamak, you don't know. Never mind, I give you. That's very nice. Why does he go back? Somebody else. Everybody will get a chocolate eventually if you answer question. Why does he go back? I know you know. Cause I don't know. Hey, who knows? Yeah. Yeah, the brother died. Because the brother died. Yeah? Okay, this one no chocolate. Who tells him the brother died? Who told him? Sorry? We don't know. Who? Ching back to who we are talking about. Nah. Right? It's funny because at in chapter 20, I'm gonna go fast because I think 16, you've done 19, I'm gonna go fast. Okay? Chapter 20. One. No, not chapter 22. Chapter 22. Okay? Chapter 22, what happens? Chapter 22, Lucas is there was rebellion in him as he stood listening to his past last orders. Lucas, I'm telling you, you don't come back without her. What is the part ask him to do? Find Nina. Okay? So all this time in chapter 19, we did realize that, okay, if you remember chapter 19 at the end, have you done chapter 19 already? Right, what happens at the end of chapter 19? What does Lucas have to do? Send Nina to the forester, right? Send Nina to the forester so that she can work in the village, okay, and make money for the father, right? But, okay, fast forward, Nina is not exactly the best behaved person. Okay, she got dismissed from the job, okay, for beating the children, for stealing things. Right, and now they can't find her. Okay, so now Christopher has been sent. I think William also has been sent to get her, but they are all very ashamed because of her behavior. So they don't want to go. Right, and then the brothers are not around. So Lucas is made to go in chapter 22. Okay, so very careful. Right. Okay, so we're talking about why he went back. Why he went back to the kloof, right? It all is it all begins here, right? Chapter 22. Okay, I want you to go to the last part of chapter 22. Chapter 22 is very long. Okay, it's really long. I need to split chapter 22 in a few parts, right? Okay, so what happens in chapter 22? He's sent to find Nina. Along the way, he sees a group of people like rushing. Where are these people going? They're going to see a ghost ship. Okay, anybody have read about the ghost ship? Right. So he decides, okay, I'm going to go to see the ghost ship as well. Okay, and when he sees the ocean, the sea, and the ghost ship, something stirs inside of him. Something stirs in him. This is very significant because we're still talking about Lucas, his identity, right? Remember in chapter 19, he's already assumed it's Lucas, right? Because there's no other explanation to it. Even my mother doesn't want me anymore. Understand? My mother came and sent my things. She said goodbye. She basically said goodbye. So I have no choice. I'm a practical man. I'm going to be Lucas forever now. Right? So I put myself in his shoes. Okay? So turn of events. Very clever. Delhi Murthy, create very clever turn of events. What happens? Chapter 19, Nina goes to the village, creates a lot of problems. So eventually Lucas is the one sent to the village. He doesn't want to go. Irony is he doesn't want to go. Because the village brings him back what? Bad memories. Memories of chapter 6 wrong. Wrong. You're just guessing. Chapter? What? 9! Correct. Why? Why chapter 9? What happens in chapter 9? What moment is that? Magistrate. Wow, all this whole group will have to share chocolate. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 9 is the moment where he is handed over to the Van Rias. It's the magistrate scene. It's a courtroom scene where Bharata comes in and points him out among the other boys. Okay. So, fast forward. So now we're at chapter 2, 22. Something stirs in him. Everybody turn to page 234. Nice number. Sons. How does it 200? Yang Pai, San Se.
Yes.
Okay. Right, look at that second paragraph. One moment he was in the tunnel of milkwood, and the next moment he stood at the foot of the hills on the edge of a bay. Now, if you read closely, listen, and I'm sure you've watched movies before. Right? Movies like The Secret Garden, something like that. You know, they go through a wall and then they go through a flurry of trees.
Tangle.
Tangle. Okay. Another one. You know that one where everybody has powers. Something Miss don't know what.
Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
Okay. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. So they go through some sort of tunnel, right? And then you're suffused. You are surrounded by either rocks or greenery or whatever, and then you come out on the other side. Okay? I want you to imagine that and read this. One moment he was in a tunnel of milkwoods. It must be dark because all the light is being blocked by the trees. You understand? And the next moment he stood at the foot of the hills on the edge of a bay. Right? So he comes out, right, at the foot of the hills at the edge of a bay. Try to recall that first moment where you went to somewhere where there was a huge ocean. Maybe Phuket or some place where it's so beautiful. Right? Opens up to him, He's never seen this before. Okay? Just the ocean. Right? Maybe overlooking. Maybe he's on top, I don't know. It felt as if the earth had given way beneath him. So he's overlooking. He's actually on top of a cliff, maybe. Because the earth had given way beneath him. Right? So if I were like setting a question, I'm not going to set this question, I'm just saying. Right? If I was setting a question, I would say, how does Delhi Murthy make this scenery so grand? Do you understand what I mean? Yeah? It's breathtaking. Do you understand? When you read this and you try to imagine, it's quite breathtaking. From a place so secluded through a tunnel, then you just open up into an expanse, right, of the ocean, overlooking the sea. It's quite breathtaking. Have you ever stood at the edge of a cliff before? Scary. Right? Or been up in a 40th-story building. My friend used to live in a 40-story building, and then his wall was glass. Look down into the traffic below. It's quite scary. But it's awesome. The view is awesome. Get it? So when the first breakers, she continues, the first breakers, what are breakers? Breakers are waves that come in very roughly. right? They break upon the coast and then they form foams. No foam, right? It's science. You know, when water splashes upon a place, it will bubbles will create. Then you see foaming. It's quite beautiful, right? A three-masted ship. Okay, I'm going to show you my beautiful drawing skills. Okay, three-masted ship.
Oh.
Okay, right? Three-masted. One, two, three. Quite a big. That means it's quite a big ship, right? Lay firmly wedged between the rocks. So this ship has run aground. It's run aground. That's why they call it a ghost ship. And nobody is on the ship, you know, because I think people either the ship was attacked by pirates, and all the people were killed or forced to jump overboard, something like that. And the ship was looted and just left. Right? Where the first breakers formed three-masted ship, they firmly wedged between the rocks with sails hanging from the mast like dirty, tattered rags. So obviously, it's, you know, when the very, very strong wind comes, you don't let the sails out like that. You have to bring down the sails. If not, you might tear. You understand? Okay, so you just lay in the ocean until you wear out the storm. Right? Where there was something horribly dead and desolate about the ship. So, yeah. Right? The ship was abandoned. He wanted to put out his hands and push the ship back into the deep water. Right? So he recalls his childhood, you know, when he was playing with boats, right? In the river, in the stream. There was this desire to, no ship, you don't belong here. You belong on the seas. Okay? This was a strong instinct in him. Right? To float again and breathe and come alive. When as a child, this is a very important paragraph, he had pushed his wooden boats out onto the stream, a strange feeling of joy, underline, a strange feeling of joy, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is what I call a breakthrough. There's a breakthrough here. There's a moment where somebody doesn't have a book. Okay, had gone through his body, and the same forgotten feeling. Why is it a forgotten feeling? Anybody know how long he has been in the forest? Quite some time already, right? Okay, I think 7 years about it, right? If you calculate, if you try to trace chronologically, it's quite a long time. Okay, he's quite a young man now. From the years he was 12 years old until now he's like, right? Maybe 19, 20. Okay, the same forgotten feeling welled up in him now. Now listen to the word, welled up. Why is this important? What wells up?
Tears.
Tears or water. Surging of water. So again, it's kind of like using the metaphor of water, right? Of the ocean, like the waves welling up. Do you understand what I mean? Okay? Welled up in him now as he stood there, but underline double, more powerfully. Now it's a like a, how to say, like an epiphany. You all know what's an epiphany? Okay? Don't know, go and look up. An epiphany. Right? Like the first time you see something so grand, it changed your life. You know? What was an epiphany for me? First time I went onto a plane, we landed, I think it was Australia. Then I saw the Sydney Opera House. It was winter. It was June. I was 16. Then I had to wear, you know what? I forgot to bring the jacket. The thing that you need to bring during winter is jacket, right? So somebody lent me an overcoat. Long overcoat. I thought I looked quite cool. Right? Yeah, so it was interesting. I think the first time maybe I performed in a concert hall, so quite a moment, like quite a joyful moment. Right? When you play and then you hear the echo, the sound of the acoustics. Okay. There was something about that dead ship that touched his whole being, not just him, But his whole being, his whole existence, he was like a stranger to himself. In other words, he has never felt this way before. Like there's something that is about him that he never knew existed. Do you understand? He was a stranger to himself. Like the first time you got really, really angry, then you go, oh, was that me? Do you understand what I mean? Quit Apple update. He wanted to put out his hands and push the ship. Okay, I'm reading back. Wrong. There was something about that ship that touched his whole being. He was like a stranger to himself, standing on the sand of an unknown bay where a ship lay wrecked that did not belong there either. The ship was trapped between the rocks, and he stood rooted to his tracks. There is some parallel being, right? So the ship is trapped. He stood there, motionless. Was he dreaming? So in other words, he's like, oh, is this a dream? Why am I feeling this way? And like what experience? What do you call it? Out of, what's an out of body experience? It's like as if have you ever been in a dream and you see yourself? Not sleepers.
Sleepers.
Don't talk about that. That's scary. I haven't had that for a long time. I used to have that. Can't move. Can't wake up, can't move. Why are you pointing at her head? Oh, same. Right. He stayed at the foothills of the hills until the darkness had driven everyone else away. So he stood there until it was dark. Right? It means he was unmoved. I mean not unmoved. Unmoved means you don't feel anything. He was immovable. Okay? He didn't move. The man except for one man at the water's edge. Good evening, uncle. The man jumped. I'm sorry, I did not mean to startle you. Then why do you creep up on me? I thought everyone had gone. I'm sorry, uncle. I'm not your uncle. The man said with dignity, I'm Sergeant Armstrong. Okay. Right, so that kind of jolted him out of that moment. Now this is a very important moment, right? Don't you think it's a very important moment? Okay, a very significant moment. I don't think it's poignant because I think poignant means very, very sad. Okay, but I'm just putting this word out there because sometimes you can actually encounter this word before, a poignant moment, and you don't know what it means. That's it, right? Hey Google. Hey Google. Google is not doing anything. Maybe because I'm live streaming to myself. Hey Google. Oh, yeah. What is poignant? Evoking a keen sense of sadness or regret. Okay? So a very keen sense of sadness or regret. That is poignant. Right? 10 more minutes. Okay. Okay, so my point actually from the beginning of this is this. That once he was sent, ironically, it's very funny, because if you look at chapter 19 and I think 20, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 20. Because 21 it goes back to the kloof. So let's pull out 21 from here. Okay? But it's kind of like a off scene because down there in 21 Fiela is wondering why God does this to her, take David away from her, Benjamin away from her, blah blah blah. So this is happening in the background. Right? In another part, Fiela is sad. Right? And then in 21 also very important, they flash back to chapter 18 where they tried to bring Benjamin back. So this is an important chapter, I think. So but 20, you realize that Elias is all is hunky dory. Lucas is a good boy. He has intention to not just make beams, but something like floorboards or something like that. Right? And all is well, But what happens in chapter 22? He sends Lucas to the village. And there, Lucas starts to discover something about himself. Yeah. So it's ironic, to me it's ironic, because all is like all well, then Elias is the one who forces him to the village, and guess what he says at the end of chapter 22? When he meets Nina, he finally discovers Nina working in this English woman's home. What's her name? Miss Weatherbury, right? Okay, at the end of chapter 22, look at that page. Tell me what she said. Okay, now Nina thought that he would be there to find her out and then bring her back home. Tell them, she's here, I've discovered her. Right? So she says, don't tell them you found me. I'm not handing my money over to anyone. Okay? Even though, right? Even though initially that was his intention, right? That was his intention when he spoke to Miss Weatherbury. He said that, I'm here to collect Nina's wages, blah, 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 right? That was his initial intention. His father told him to do that. Okay? But after being exposed to the coast and all the ships and all these things, he said something else to Nina. Okay? I'm not handing my money. Pa can get up from his ass and work for himself. I came to ask you a favor. So he changed his mind. Right? She must have realized that he was not taking any notice of what she was saying, for she suddenly became quiet and looked at him anxiously. Right? So when somebody approaches you with a tone that is surprisingly serious and not really with the intention that you thought he came with, you start to listen. You keep quiet and start to listen. Are you alright, Lucas? So obviously she cares for him, right? Okay, maybe there's something wrong. That's why she asked, are you alright? Yes, but I'm asking you one favor in return for all the times I stood up for you. Right? He sounds as if he's someone who doesn't keep count. Right? He does things because it's the right thing to do. But this is the time when he needs to pull a favor, right? So he says, all the things I've done for you, right? I need you to do this one favor for me. Okay? What? Go home. Well, it ends, it's quite nice, It's like a poem that ends with a nice couplet. Okay? Go home and tell Pa I'm not coming back. I'm finished with the forest. Quite a bold statement to make, isn't it? Right? Very bold. And it's like, it seems as if he's not going to change his mind. This is what I decided. Okay? Does it remind you of anything he said to Nina in the past? Does it remind you of anything he said to Nina in the past? Is it chapter 17 or 18? No, not 17. I think it's 18. Oh, wait. Do you remember the time when both of them went to the forest together and then Nina said, hey, it's time for you to go. You can run away now. Don't know what that is. Where is that? Trying to recall. Is it 14? No, not 14. Quick. 19, okay. Yes. 205. Okay? 206. I'm not stupid, Nina. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, in the middle. I want you to underline that line before we go. The day I decide to go. Can you see that? Natalie! The day I decide to go, I won't wait for you to show me the way. I'll find it for myself. So this is a very important, it's a promise that, it seems like a promise that he made to himself. One day I will go. Right? Because instinctively, I believe, right, or inherently, or whatever it is, deep inside him, he knows he doesn't belong in the forest. right? Because no matter what you can tell him, you are from here, you are white, blah blah blah, right? You are white again, blah blah blah. But where is his heart? Where is his heart? In the valley. Are you saying valley? Where? In the village? No. In the kloof. Yes, please get the words correct. In the kloof. His heart is in the kloof. Right? So the day that he decides to go, he will just go. He will not ask anybody for permission or whatever. So this is the first point in chapter 22, at the end of chapter 22. Okay, page 249. Okay, is the first step. He said he's reached, okay, this village, this coast, and then he's telling Nina, go and tell Pa I'm not coming back. Go home and tell Pa I'm not coming back. I'm finished with the forest. Okay, so this is the first step. The second step is just now we talked about, I think it's chapter 25. Okay, David was dead, his brother David had died. It was like an echo that rolled back to time, dragging him with it. Okay, so that is the next point, and then he decides to go back to the kloof. Right? Okay, look, chapter 26 in the beginning. 3 days later, as the sun was going down and the full moon rose on the sea, he started walking. Okay, so there is a period of time when he finds out in chapter 25, he finds out his brother is dead. Right? Why does he find out? Because he told Nina to go and tell the father, right? So Nina went back, spent a few days in the forest, met this person. Right? I can't remember his name. Petrus sent him, I think. Laju or something, I can't remember. Told him that, okay, his brother is dead. His brother is dead, so he passed the information to her. Right. You know what's funny in chapter 25? Right? He was looking for her. So he was looking for her. Yeah, I go. At least a few seconds. Okay? Page 279. Where the devil have you been? Okay. Oh, page 278. Everybody 278. Very significant moment. If you don't know this moment, I don't know what to say. Okay? Why is this moment significant? He suddenly realized how different her beauty was from that of the pale, refined girls. Hidden like the beauty of the forest. No, she was like the ship somewhere in the fog. Right? You knew she was there, but you dared not put your hand to touch her. She was Nina. He was shocked and guilt-ridden. Why was he shocked and guilt-ridden? Because he was attracted to his sister. Why do I know he's attracted? For a moment, his body had forgotten that she was his sister. Which part of the body? I don't know. Maybe the eyes grew bigger. Right? It's up for you to think. Okay? And I love the way she wrote it. It's like very indirect, It's like, he has responded to her in a way that a brother shouldn't respond, basically. Right? Okay, so that's the lesson for today. Right, Kasara?